This is the second episode of the Stitches and Wishes podcast. I am so excited that you are here, and let's dive in to some projects. So my first project is in this, what do you call it? Just like a makeup bag. This has been the perfect size for my socks. These are my Christmas socks. The yarn that I'm using is from Mandy's Makings, and the yarn color is Homemade Ornament. It's this pink with some green speckles. This color was on sale last year, and I did see that she was opening it back up this year, so you should check out her Instagram if you're interested in this color. But I have a semi-finished object. I finished the first sock. I should have put this on a sock blocker, but this is what the first sock is looking like. I did a green cuff and a green toe. I decided just to keep the heel with this color because it was easy. I finished it about a week ago, so that felt good to finish. It was kind of a goal to finish one sock last week, and I did it. And this project keeper is a little marshmallow snowman cup, hot chocolate cup, and this is from Simply Serving. She makes the cutest little progress keeper. So from the last podcast, I have knit from here all the way down through the toe, and I did a lot of this over Thanksgiving. I had wanted to work more on my Battenberg blanket over Thanksgiving, but I just got the itch to work on this sock. So I am super excited that sock number 1 is done. I need to cast on sock number 2, or I feel like it's just going to get forgotten. But yeah, this is sock 1. Oh, the pattern is, it's not a specific pattern. I am using the Perfect Fit sock course by Knitty Natty. She has it on her website, Love and Stitches, and it is such an informative course on how to make the perfect fit sock. And so using her formula, this is perfect fit sock for me. And these are some stitch markers marking row changes when I changed what I was doing. So that's what this is. They're kind of hard to see, but yeah, half finished object. I need to get the second pair cast on, or I feel like I'm gonna get sock-itis and not finish these. But yes, these are fun and bringing me a lot of joy. Gotta figure out where to put everything. So the next project is my Battenberg blanket, and this yarn is from Blue. I guess before diving into the yarn, let me talk about the bag that it's in. So this bag is from 5 to 6 Handmade, and it's such the perfect size, like as big as my head. Takes up the whole phone screen, but it is her holiday print, and it's made of such good quality material, and the inside has pockets, which is amazing and perfect for this project. And when I took it we went to Northern Idaho for Thanksgiving, this was perfect to put in some extra yarn and just keep everything contained in this bag. It has a box bottom, and this is the small size, and I would say it's definitely a couple skeins of yarn could fit in this. So 5 to 6 Handmade is, I think, my new favorite bag. And the zipper like is so smooth. Zippers normally like get stuck, but this zipper, there's something about it that's super smooth. Okay, the yarn is from Blue Fern Yarn, and it's my Advent yarn. Again, I started opening this before December 1st because I wanted to enjoy the yarn, and I didn't want to stress myself out opening one a day through Advent season. So I've just been enjoying doing this at my own pace. So last episode I was working on color number 6, and I finished color number 6, which is Exotic Seas. So it looks like this. It's like a bright blue. I am making the Battenberg blanket, which is a bunch of colorful squares, and then you use a neutral color to join the colorful squares together. I haven't decided what yarn I'm going to use. I have enough yarn in this, it's called Antler is the color name, and it's definitely like a bone antler color, and if it looks good once I see all of these colors, I'm going to use that because I have enough yarn. I was going to make a sweater out of it, but it's too light for a sweater, so I haven't known what to do, so I think I'm going to use it. So that was color number 6. I finished color number 6. And then color number 7 was Tropical Beach. And it was this blue, and it has a little bit of white to it, but it's definitely a lighter blue. So with each color, I'm making 7 squares. So I will have 7 times 24, so 140, I'll have over 140 squares. That's the math that I'm gonna do, of colorful squares. And then I will have the same amount in neutral squares. So that was color number 7. Color number 8 was Shallows. And we moved to an even lighter blue. If you can't tell, this was a beach themed. The light is really washing these out, but this is what color number 8 looked like. And then color number 9 is the last full color that I got through, and this is Rock Barrier, and here is where we move into more of a brown, but there's definitely some blue still in this color. These squares take me about 15 minutes each to make, so they're kind of quick, and they're the nice like lunch break project to knit a square or 2 over lunch. Although lately I've been using my lunch breaks to go work out. So I haven't been knitting on these squares as much. And then color number 10 is in this bag. It is Coast. I love each of the colors came wound up with a little label on them, which I absolutely love. So Coast is an even more brown taupe color. Looks like this. You can see there's little speckles of blue. So we're definitely moving into the more sand and rocky colors. I feel like there's going to be probably 8 blues, because that's kind of what it ended up being, and then 9 and 10 we move more into browns, and then hopefully we'll move into some greens. I want to see what all of the browns look like before, this is the skein. I want to see what all the browns look like before I pick a neutral color, because if all the browns are like more of a warm brown, I want to pick more of a warm neutral color than a white, like bluey neutral color. But yeah, that was my Battenberg blanket. I am really enjoying that project, although I haven't worked on it a lot lately. The last square I made was over Thanksgiving. And today is December 9th. So it has been 2 weeks since I worked on that project, but I have been working on my socks, and then I started a new project that I will show here in a little bit. But the next project I want to talk about is my sweater. The Boxy is the pattern name. The pattern is by Hohilo Catelli, and the yarn is from Sorella. It's in the People Mover color and from the Disney collection. So the collection is closed. It was this summer, but this is what the color looks like. I did maybe 2 rows on this project. It is definitely not a priority project, but it's still fun to do every now and again. I really wanted to show you my progress keeper. I'm a big Gilmore Girls fan, and so it is a Luke's Diner mug with a donut sitting on top. Sorella actually just launched a Gilmore Girls yarn collection, which I was really excited about, and I got some yarn for a cardigan that I want to make next year after I finish the sweater, or maybe I will just get too excited and cast it on before. But I don't know if you can see very well, but I did, it looks like 3 rows maybe from where I was last time. So I like using progress keepers because it helps when you're working on something so big. It's hard to feel like you're making any progress, but when you put a progress keeper in, you're like, wow, this is where I was last time and I made so much progress. This is the yarn that I'm using, and I'm really liking this color, and I hope that I'm able to finish it before winter is over, but again, I'm just going at my own pace. The bag that I'm using to keep it in is called a float tote. Oh, my needles are sticking out through it. I actually crocheted this bag. The pattern is by Love and Stitches Nitty Natty. What's amazing about this is you make, I'm trying to pull them out, you make these little containers for the yarn, and then you put a little magnet on the bottom, and then you magnetize this to a tray, like a insert, and so all of your yarn is in here, and it's the perfect size bag for a sweater. It's a little big, but all of my yarn for the sweater is in this bag, and I really like this color. It is more floppy than I was expecting, but I think I just had too loose of a gauge, and this worked up really, really quick. So those are all projects that you saw in the first episode if you tuned into the first episode. Since then, I've started a new project. I am using yarn from Knit Picks. Twill is the yarn, and the colorway is Dungaree. It is this beautiful navy blue. Let me show you the color. It is going to be a scarf for my dad. My sister found out that my dad really likes merino wool, and then volunteered us both to make him something. So she is making a hat and I am making a scarf, and together we will hopefully gift it to him around Christmas. We will see. I've made, I don't know, maybe 30 inches of progress, so I'm probably halfway through the scarf. There's really no specific pattern. I am doing brioche knitting, which if you've never done brioche knitting before, it sounds hard. It also sounds like the food, like the bread brioche, but it is making it so squishy, and it's just this beautiful pattern. Brioche knitting, all it is a slip stitch and a knit stitch. You do the slip stitch special, but besides that, like that's all it is, and it makes it really stretchy, you can see, and it's really fluffy is the best way to describe it. And I am enjoying this project, but I'm also ready for it to be done because my sister told me that she kind of voluntold me. I'm very happy that my dad wants something handmade, but I wasn't expecting to make this project in December, so I'm also ready for it to be over and to work on some other things because I want this to be done in time for Christmas. So this has really been getting all of my time, and that's kind of why I've fallen behind on Advent knitting, because I've been working on this project. And to show you the bag that I'm using, it's just another makeup bag from Walmart or Target. No, this is actually from Amazon. I lied. This one is from Walmart. This one is from Amazon, and it's the perfect makeup toiletry bag size because it fits the yarn in here perfectly. But yeah, I'm working on, really my priority project is the scarf. So let's dive into like a review of the last 2 weeks, because I know I set some goals. It's actually been 3 weeks now. The last 3 weeks, because I set some goals in the last podcast. I said I wanted to get through 7 colors of my Advent knitting, and I only got through 4.5 because I was way more excited to work on my socks, and then the yarn came in for this scarf, and so then I was more excited and prioritizing the scarf over Advent knitting. But I don't really feel that bad about being behind on my Advent knitting because I'm learning that knitting is supposed to be fun and I'm supposed to enjoy what I'm doing and it not be like a checklist. I have to get this done. I am definitely a to-do list person, and so I've wanted to get back into my Advent knitting, but at the same time I really do want to get this scarf done, And so that is just taking a priority. Over the next 2-3 weeks, depending on when I film this again, but the next few weeks, I want to finish this scarf. I think I will be able to. I've gotten through about 30 inches in a week. So if I'm able to maintain that pace, then I probably will be done with it in another week and a half. I had to order more yarn, so it kind of depends on when the yarn comes in. And I would like to finish 4 colors. So I'd like to be done with color 14 by the time the next podcast comes out. The biggest thing that's been helping me is knitting for 30 minutes a day, and like setting a timer and having that be my goal, or like my to-do list item is to knit for 30 minutes. And then I can decide what I want to knit, whether I want to knit on the scarf, whether I want to start the second sock or start on my advent. I can really pick and choose. But for me, having one focus project is kind of where my attention span is at, and I'm learning that I kind of have a 2-week attention span for a project. Like I'll be really focused on one project for 2 weeks, and then I'm like, time to do something more exciting, or not more exciting, but something different. So I kind of have a 2-week tolerance for a project, which is why I think my sweater is going to be such a slog to get through, because it's going to take me a whole lot longer than 2 weeks to get through. But my sweater comes in waves of me wanting to work on it. Like I do really want to work on my sweater right now, but the scarf is priority and a Christmas present. So trying to get it done so that my dad can enjoy it in the winter season. They live up in northern Idaho, so winter lasts a little bit longer than it does here in Colorado. So I'm hoping to have that, be able to be finished with that. I would love in the next podcast to not even have the scarf, to have finished it and shipped it up to my parents, to be done with it. Like that is my ultimate goal, is for you to not even see this project next time that we chat. Fingers crossed that can happen, and I'm going to do that by knitting 30 minutes a day, and I'm really going to be focusing on that project. And then once that's done, I'll probably switch back to my advent calendar project. I'll probably cast on my second sock before we're going to Florida for Christmas. I'll probably cast on my sock and do the cuff of my sock before we get on the plane. So when I'm on the plane and I just want something like mindless and easy, I can do that. As for what's been going on in life, we went to northern Idaho for Thanksgiving with Gumbo, our dog, who you will see in the beginning segment. He was just a crazy man. He has a lot of energy for such a small dog. My parents have 2 dogs that are the same breed, but they're much older than Gumbo. Gumbo is a year old. My parents' dogs are 10 and 6, and so they're just used to the slow, calm pace of life, and Gumbo is not slow and calm. So Thanksgiving was a lot of like managing Gumbo and making sure he wasn't disturbing the dogs too much and causing chaos. So Thanksgiving was fun, but it was also exhausting, constantly being on, watching Gumbo. Like, is he trying to hump one of the other dogs, or is he harassing the other dogs? He really didn't chill out. He had a bed that he would lay in, but it was very short-lived. So that was Thanksgiving. Lately I've been reading The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lauren Barnes. It is a really good book. I think it's more young adult fiction, but it is about a girl who is having like hard life, and then all of a sudden gets a letter that she needs to fly to Texas, I think is where she has to fly to, for the reading of a will. And she then inherits a lot of money, and the rest of the book, I'm only about 30% of the way in, the rest of the book is about figuring out why she's inherited all of this money. And I think there's some puzzles or games, riddles that she has to figure out of why she was left this money and what she's ultimately going to do with this money. I'm really enjoying this book, and it's a series, so I'm excited to continue reading that. The last 2 weeks I really haven't watched that much TV because I have been busy coaching high school girls swim. That's what takes up my evenings and kind of slows down my knitting progress a little bit, because my evenings are now spent coaching. But over Thanksgiving I was enjoying Selling Sunset season 6. It's kind of mindless TV. This is not the most current season, the season before that. I want to get all caught up, and maybe that will be a Thanksgiving goal. Not Thanksgiving, Christmas goal, because I'm off of work for a little bit, to get all caught up on Selling Sunset. I just don't like being behind. And that's really what I'm learning about myself. The last little segment is tip of the week, and I kind of already touched on it, but the biggest thing helping me get through some of my winter projects is setting a 30-minute timer and making progress and being like, for 30 minutes, I'm going to work on this project and I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to knit 30 minutes every day, because that's way more attainable than like, I'm going to sit down for 5 hours and work on this project. Just like 30 minutes. If I was not going to the gym to work out on my lunch breaks, I would set a timer during lunch and be like, 30 minutes during lunch, I'm going to work on my scarf, and then if I have more time throughout the day in the evening, I can knit, but I'm gonna feel accomplished if I got 30 minutes of knitting done. You could even make this smaller, like 15 minutes if you only have a 30-minute lunch break, or 15 minutes in the evening after you put your kids down to bed. You will really see yourself start to make progress when you're doing just a little bit every single day. And that's all I got today. So I appreciate you watching this second episode, and if you haven't checked out the first one, I would love if you would go watch that. Leave a comment, let me know what you loved about this, what books you're reading, what projects you're working on, and I cannot wait to talk to you in the next episode.